Captain Taemin Park stood on the bridge of his medical ship, watching the green planet below. His ship, Soul's Light, carried enough medicine to save 1 million lives. This was what humans did best. They healed others. "Captain, we're getting the signal from the planet," said his communications officer. "The Rilvan people are ready for us." Taemin nodded. The Rilvans looked like giant lizards and lived on a world that was always hot. A terrible sickness was killing them by the thousands. The Galactic Council had asked humans to help, like they always did. Dr. Sujin Lee was already preparing her medical team. She had worked with alien diseases for 15 years. Her hands were steady as she filled syringes with the cure they had developed during their 3-week journey to this world. "Remember, everyone," Sujin told her team. "The Rilvans don't like to be touched. Keep your movements slow. Don't look them in the eyes for too long." The human medical team knew all about alien customs. They had to learn them if they wanted to help. Most aliens didn't bother learning about human customs. On the planet's surface, the Rilvan leader waited. His name was Siskatar, and he was 12 feet tall with green scales that sparkled in the sunlight. When the humans stepped off their shuttle, he barely looked at them. "You took long enough," Siskatar said in his hissing voice. "My people are dying while you humans fly slowly through space." Sujin bit her tongue. The truth was that human ships were actually very fast. They had dropped everything to come here. But arguing with aliens never helped anyone. "We're here now," Sujin said politely. "Where can we set up our medical stations?" Siskatar pointed to an area near the city's garbage dumps. "There, don't go anywhere else. We don't want humans walking through our clean areas." Back in space, Admiral Boram Kim sat in her office on Earth Station Alpha. Reports were coming in from all over the galaxy. Human ships were being attacked. Human colonies were being raided. Human families were being taken as slaves. The latest report made her hands shake with anger. Pirates had attacked a human farming colony on Kepler 442b. They had killed everyone, even the children. The pirates had posted a video message. "Humans are weak. Humans are cattle. Come and take them." Boram sent the report to the Galactic Council just like she always did. The Council was supposed to protect all member species. Humans had been members for over 200 years. The Council's response came back in less than an hour. It was always the same. "The human situation has been noted. The Council will consider action when time permits." Engineer Hyunwoo Choi was fixing a broken air recycler on Kepler Station when he heard the news. The station was home to 17 different alien species. Hyunwoo worked 20 hours a day to keep all their different life support systems running. The Thoraxian aliens on the station needed air that was mostly methane. The Aquari needed water in the air. The crystalline beings needed complete silence to survive. Hyunwoo made sure they all had what they needed. "Human," called out Vexthor, a Thoraxian commander. "My quarters are too cold. Fix it now." Hyunwoo looked at his work schedule. He had 37 repair jobs already lined up, but arguing with aliens was pointless. "I'll fix it right after I finish the air recycler," Hyunwoo said. "If I don't fix this first, Deck 7 will run out of oxygen." Vexthor's eyes turned red with anger. "I don't care about Deck 7. I care about my comfort. Humans exist to serve us." That night, Hyunwoo worked alone in the station's maintenance tunnels. He had been doing this job for 8 years. In all that time, no alien had ever said thank you. They acted like his work meant nothing. Down on the Rilvan planet, Sujin and her team had set up their medical camp. Sick Rilvans lined up for treatment. The humans worked without stopping, giving shots and handing out medicine. A young Rilvan child was dying from the disease. Sujin worked for 6 hours straight to save his life. She used her own blood for a transfusion because human blood could help other species heal faster. When the child opened his eyes, his mother looked at Sujin. For a moment, Sujin thought she might say thank you. Instead, the mother grabbed her child and walked away without a word. "Doctor," called one of Sujin's assistants. "We're running low on supplies." Sujin looked around the camp. They had treated over 3,000 Rilvans in just 2 days. Her team was exhausted. They had not slept or eaten much. "Send a message to the ship," Sujin said. "Ask for more supplies." But when the supply shuttle tried to land, Rilvan soldiers stopped it. "No more human ships," Siskatar announced. "You have brought enough." "Leave our world," Sujin stared at him. "But we haven't finished treating everyone. There are still thousands of sick people." "You have done enough," Siskatar said. "We will handle the rest ourselves." Sujin knew they couldn't handle it themselves. Without human medicine, thousands more Rilvans would die. But she also knew that arguing was useless. That evening, Admiral Boram Kim received another report. This one was worse than all the others. The human colony on New Busan had been destroyed. 3,000 people were dead. Men, women, children, all killed by Vorthon slavers who wanted to capture humans for their fighting pits. Boram read the report 3 times. She had grandchildren the same age as some of the victims. Her hands were shaking when she sent the report to the Galactic Council. This time she added a personal note. "This is genocide. We demand immediate action." The Council's response came the next day. It was signed by all 12 Council members. The human situation on New Busan has been noted with mild concern. The Council reminds all species that humans have natural healing abilities and emotional strength that allow them to recover from such incidents. No further action is required. Boram stared at the message for a long time. Mild concern. 3,000 dead humans, and the Council felt mild concern. For 200 years, humans had helped everyone. They had healed alien diseases. They had built alien cities. They had fought alien wars and died for alien causes. They had asked for nothing in return except to be treated as equals. But they were not treated as equals. They were treated as servants, as tools, as things to be used and thrown away. Boram looked out her window at the stars. Somewhere out there, human ships were still racing to help aliens in need. Human doctors were still saving alien lives. Human engineers were still fixing alien machines. And aliens were still attacking human colonies, still taking human slaves, still treating humans like cattle. Boram turned to her communication console. It was time to send a message to every human ship in the galaxy. It was time to say enough. Communications officer Yuna Song was working the night shift when she found the message. She wasn't supposed to see it. The encrypted transmission was meant for the Galactic Council, but it had bounced off a human relay station by mistake. Yuna almost deleted it without reading. Then she saw the sender's name, Council Speaker Veltar. She decided to take a look. What she read made her blood turn cold. "The human problem is becoming manageable," the message said. "Our strategy of allowing controlled attacks on their settlements is working. Humans remain useful and humble. Recommend continuing current policy of benign neglect." Yuna read it again, then again. The Council wasn't just ignoring attacks on humans. They were allowing them on purpose. She copied the message and sent it to Admiral Boram Kim immediately. Professor Dong-Hyun Yu was in the Council library on Galaxis Prime when he made his discovery. He was researching alien biology for a medical project. The library computer gave him access to files he wasn't supposed to see. The file was labeled Species Classification, Confidential. Dong-Hyun opened it out of curiosity. The document listed every member species of the Galactic Council. Next to each species was a rating: full citizens, protected species, or utility species. Humans were listed as utility species. Dong-Hyun scrolled down to read the definition. Utility species are those whose primary value lies in their service to full citizen species. These species possess useful traits but lack the independence necessary for true citizenship. Utility species should be maintained in a dependent state to maximize their usefulness. Under the human entry, someone had written notes: excellent healing abilities, high pain tolerance, emotional resilience allows them to function despite repeated trauma. Recommend continued exploitation while maintaining illusion of equal status. Dong-Hyun's hands were shaking as he copied the files. Captain Ji-hoon. Kang was bringing supplies to a mining colony when the pirates attacked. His cargo ship Incheon's Pride wasn't built for fighting. It was built for carrying food and medicine to places that needed them. "Dad, they're jamming our communications," said his daughter, so young, from the navigation station. She was only 22 years old, fresh out of Space Academy. "Keep trying to send a distress signal," Ji-hoon told her. "Someone will help us." The pirate ship was Zephyrian. Zephyrians looked like giant insects with too many arms. They enjoyed causing pain. Their ship was 3 times bigger than the Incheon's Pride. The pirates boarded Ji-hoon's ship easily. They stunned the crew with electric weapons and dragged them to the cargo bay. "Which one is the captain?" asked the lead pirate in his clicking voice. "I am," Ji-hoon said, stepping forward. The pirate smiled with too many teeth. "Good. We will start with your daughter." Ji-hoon watched in horror as they tortured So Young. They used neural disruptors that caused incredible pain without leaving marks. She screamed until her voice gave out. "Stop," Ji-hoon begged. "I'll give you anything, please." "We don't want your cargo," the pirate said. "We want to have fun." That was when Ji-hoon saw it. Through the cargo bay window, he could see a Galactic Council patrol ship. It was just sitting there watching. "Help us," Ji-hoon shouted into his communicator. "Council ship, please help us." The Council ship's captain came on the radio. "We cannot interfere in internal Zephyrian affairs." "This isn't internal affairs," Ji-hoon screamed. "They're torturing my crew." "The Zephyrians have salvage rights in this sector," the Council captain said calmly. "Your ship entered their territory illegally." Ji-hoon knew that was a lie. They were in open space. But the Council ship just watched as the pirates continued their torture. Ambassador Yoon Ji-han stood before the full Galactic Council with her evidence. She had Yuna's intercepted messages. She had Donghyun's classified files. She had recordings from dozens of attacks where Council ships had refused to help humans. "For 200 years, humans have served this council faithfully," Yoonji said. "We have healed your sick. We have built your cities. We have died in your wars. And this is how you repay us?" Council Speaker Veltar looked bored. He was a tall, thin alien with purple skin and no nose. "Ambassador Han, your species has always been valued for your unique contributions." "You mean our usefulness," Yoonji said. "You don't see us as equals. You see us as tools." "Your emotional outburst proves why humans need guidance," Veltar said. "You are too unstable for true leadership." "Unstable?" Yoonji laughed bitterly. "We're unstable because we object to being murdered and enslaved?" Veltar's eyes grew cold. "Your species exists to serve the greater galactic community. That is your purpose. You should be grateful for the opportunity." "Grateful?" Yoonji's voice rose. "Grateful for being treated like cattle?" "Yes," Veltar said simply. "Your species has healing abilities and emotional strength that make you ideal servants. Why fight against your nature?" The other council members nodded in agreement. To them, this conversation made perfect sense. "We demand equal representation," Yoonji said. "We demand protection for our colonies. We demand justice," Veltar laughed. The sound was like glass breaking. "You demand? Humans don't make demands. Humans serve." That night, the council passed the Human Utility Doctrine by a vote of 11-0. One member was absent. The doctrine officially classified humans as specialized service beings rather than full citizens. Dr. In-ho Nam was a psychologist who had studied alien behavior for 30 years. When he read the Human Utility Doctrine, everything became clear. "We taught them to see us as victims," he told his colleague over a secure channel. "Every time we turned the other cheek, every time we helped them after they hurt us, we reinforced their belief that we exist to be used." "What do you mean?" his colleague asked. "Think about it," In-ho said. "For 200 years, we've responded to aggression with kindness. They attack our colonies and we send medical aid to their worlds. They enslave our people, and we continue to fix their machines. From their perspective, this proves that humans are naturally subservient. So what do? In-ho was quiet for a long time. "We stop being victims." Admiral Boram Kim received In-ho's psychological analysis along with all the other evidence. She read it 3 times, then called an emergency meeting of all human fleet commanders. The meeting was held in secret, using encryption codes that only humans knew. Representatives from every human ship, colony, and station joined the call. "You've all seen the evidence," Boram said. "The Council has been allowing attacks on us for decades. They see us as livestock. They've now made it official policy." Captain Taemin Park spoke up from his medical ship. "What are you suggesting, Admiral?" "I'm suggesting we stop being the galaxy's punching bag," Boram said. "I'm suggesting we remind everyone what humans are capable of when we stop choosing to be gentle." "You're talking about war," said another captain. "I'm talking about survival," Boram replied. "They've already declared war on us. We just haven't been fighting back." The vote was unanimous. Admiral Boram Kim opened a channel to every human vessel in the galaxy. Her message was broadcast to over 10,000 ships, 300 colonies, and 50 million humans scattered across the stars. "My fellow humans," she began, "for 2 centuries we have chosen peace. We have chosen kindness. We have chosen to heal rather than harm. We believed that our compassion would earn us respect and equality." She paused, letting her words sink in. We were wrong. Our kindness has been seen as weakness. Our healing has been taken for granted. Our patience has been mistaken for cowardice. On thousands of ships across the galaxy, human crews listened in silence. Today, the Galactic Council officially declared us to be servants. Not citizens. Not equals. Servants. Boram's voice grew harder. But they made one critical mistake. They assumed that our choice to be gentle meant we were incapable of being anything else. They forgot that humans are the species that survived ice ages, plagues, and wars. They forgot that we are the species that turned poison into medicine and split atoms for energy. She looked directly into the camera. Today we stop choosing to be victims. Today we remind the galaxy what humans really are when pushed too far. Today we say enough. The transmission ended with a single word that echoed across human space. Enough. Within hours, every human ship in the galaxy received new orders. Medical vessels were to return to human space immediately. Diplomatic missions were to be abandoned. Trade agreements were to be terminated. For the first time in 200 years, humans were coming home, and they were bringing their knowledge of alien weaknesses with them. General Seung-Hwan Lim had been retired for 15 years when Admiral Boram Kim called him back to service. He was 73 years old and had been growing vegetables on Luna Colony. But when he heard about the human utility doctrine, he put down his gardening tools and picked up his uniform. "How long do we have?" he asked Boram during their first meeting. "Not long," she replied. "The council will try to force us back into service. They'll use military action if they have to." Seung-Hwan nodded. "Then we need ships. Real warships, not medical vessels." "Already taken care of," Boram said with a thin smile. "Show him, Commander Cha." Commander Haewon Cha activated a holographic display. It showed the Kuiper Belt, the region of space beyond Neptune where humans had been mining ice asteroids for decades. "Those aren't mining operations," Haewon said. "They're shipyards. We've been building warships for the past 50 years disguised as industrial facilities." Seung-Hwan stared at the display. 50 years? You've been planning this for 50 years? "Not planning for war," Boram corrected. "Planning for the day when peace stopped being an option." The first ship rolled out of the hidden shipyards 3 days later. It was called the Gwangju's Fury, and it looked nothing like the gentle medical vessels humans were known for. It was black as space, covered in armor and bristling with weapons. Captain Jun Seo-oh stood on its bridge, still adjusting to command. He had been flying cargo ships for 20 years. Now he was commanding humanity's first true warship in 2 centuries. "All systems ready, Captain," reported his weapons officer. Jun Seo looked at the tactical display. Their target was a Thoraxian military base in the Vega system, the same Thoraxian empire that had destroyed New Busan Colony. "Remember," Jun Seo told his crew, "these are the aliens who murdered 3,000 humans, including children." They posted videos of themselves laughing about it. The crew's faces hardened. Every human in the galaxy had seen those videos. "Take us to Vega," Jun Seo ordered. Dr. Mi-young Seo worked in a secret laboratory hidden inside Ceres Station. For 20 years, she had been developing medicines to help alien species. Now she was using that same knowledge to create weapons. "The Thoraxian respiratory system is completely different from ours," she explained to her team. "Their lungs process methane instead of oxygen. This virus will attack their lung tissue specifically." Her assistant looked uncomfortable. "Doctor, this will kill them." Mi-young looked up from her work. "Yes, it will. Just like they killed the children on New Busan." She held up a small vial filled with clear liquid. "This is what we call Operation Hippocratic. We swore an oath to do no harm. But sometimes the greatest harm comes from refusing to stop those who hurt innocent people." The virus was loaded into atmospheric bombs. When the bombs exploded over Thoraxian cities, the virus would spread through their air supply. Only Thoraxians would die. Every other species would be unaffected. "How long will it take?" asked General Seung-Hwan Lim during a briefing. 6 hours, Mi-young replied. "They'll have time to surrender if they choose." Meanwhile, Spy Master Young-Sig Bae was revealing the true scope of human intelligence gathering. For 200 years, humans had been working on alien worlds as doctors, engineers, and diplomats. They had seen everything. "We know every military base," Young-Sig told the assembled human commanders. "We know every defense system. We know every weakness." He activated a massive holographic map of the galaxy. Red dots marked Thoraxian military installations. Blue dots marked their industrial centers. Yellow dots marked their population centers. Every human who ever treated a Thoraxian patient learned about their biology. Young Sick continued. Every human who ever repaired a Thoraxian machine learned about their technology. Every human who ever served on a Thoraxian world learned about their culture. You're saying we've been spying without knowing it? Asked Admiral Boram Kim. I'm saying we've been gathering intelligence while trying to help them, Young Sik corrected. The difference is important. Colonel Jae-sung Ryu was preparing his ground assault team when the Gwangju's Fury arrived at Thoraxian Prime. The planet was the center of the Thoraxian Empire, home to 12 billion beings who looked like giant mantises. Remember the plan, Jae-sung told his soldiers. We hit their military targets first. Civilians who surrender will be spared. His soldiers were former medical technicians, engineers, and rescue workers. They had never been trained as killers, but they had all seen the videos from New Busan. Sir, one soldier asked, what if they don't surrender? Jae-sung's face was hard as stone. Then we show them what happens when you murder human children. The battle for Thoraxian Prime began at 800 Galactic Standard Time. The Gwangju's Fury appeared in orbit without warning. Its weapon systems, based on medical scanning technology, could target individual buildings from space. The first targets were military command centers. Precise energy beams, originally designed for surgical procedures, cut through Thoraxian armor like paper. Their orbital defense platforms, built with human engineering help, suddenly stopped working as hidden backdoors in their systems activated. Thoraxian Command. This is Captain Junseo O of the Human Defense Force, Junseo broadcast. You have 1 hour to surrender unconditionally. The Thoraxian response was immediate. Humans do not make demands. Humans serve. Wrong answer, Junseo said quietly. Dr. Mi Young-seo's atmospheric bombs were released over Thoraxian cities. The virus spread quickly through their methane-based atmosphere. Thoraxians began collapsing in the streets, their lungs failing. But the bombs carried more than just virus. They also carried the cure. Attention Thoraxian civilians, Junseo broadcast. You are being affected by a biological agent that targets your species specifically. We have the cure. Lay down your weapons and surrender, and you will receive medical treatment. Some Thoraxians chose to fight. Colonel Jae-sung Ryu and his ground forces met them in combat. The Thoraxians discovered that humans who had spent decades healing alien injuries knew exactly how to cause them. But many Thoraxians chose to surrender. They had seen what happened to their military bases. They knew the humans could kill them all if they wanted to. The siege of Thoraxian Prime lasted 6 hours. When it ended, the Thoraxian Empire had ceased to exist. Their military was destroyed. Their government had surrendered. Their emperor was in human custody. This is for New Busan, Junseo said as he accepted the emperor's surrender. News of Thoraxian Prime's fall spread across the galaxy in hours. The species that had proudly posted videos of murdering human children had been crushed in less than a day. The Galactic Council was in emergency session within hours. How is this possible? Demanded Council Speaker Veltar. Humans don't have warships. They're a peaceful species. Apparently not anymore, replied Councillor Frexnix, a reptilian being from the Outer Rim. Our intelligence reports say they have dozens of warships. Maybe hundreds. Where did they come from? Veltar screamed. The answer came from an unexpected source. Engineer Hyunwoo Choi, the human who had spent years maintaining Kepler Station, appeared on the Council's main screen. Hello, Veltar, Hyunwoo said calmly. Remember me? I'm the human who fixed your air conditioning for 8 years while you called me cattle. Veltar's purple skin turned pale. How are you on this channel? This is a secure Council frequency. Hyunwoo smiled. I built your communication system. I know every access code, every encryption key, every backdoor. All humans do. We built everything you depend on. The Council members looked around in panic. If humans had built their technology, then humans could control it. You want to know where our warships came from? Hyunwoo continued. We built them in facilities you thought were mining operations. You want to know how we defeated the Thoraxians so easily? We've been studying alien weaknesses for 200 years while we healed your wounded. He leaned forward, his face filling the screen. You made one critical mistake, Veltar. You assumed that choosing peace meant we were incapable of war. You assumed that our kindness was weakness. But humans didn't become the dominant species on our world by being weak. We became dominant by being smart. The transmission ended, leaving the council in stunned silence. Admiral Bo-Ram Kim appeared on every news channel in the galaxy hours later. Her message was simple and clear. For 200 years, the human species chose peace. We chose to heal instead of harm. We chose to build instead of destroy. We believed that our compassion would earn us respect and equality in the galactic community. She paused, her eyes hard as steel. We were wrong. Instead of respect, we received contempt. Instead of equality, we were classified as servants. Instead of protection, we were allowed to be murdered and enslaved for the entertainment of species we considered allies. The camera zoomed in on her face. Today, that changes. Humanity is no longer choosing to be the galaxy's victim. We will defend ourselves. We will protect our people, and we will punish those who have harmed us. She stood up, her admiral's uniform crisp and commanding. To every species that has attacked human colonies, enslaved human civilians, or supported the Council's utility doctrine, you have 72 hours to release all human prisoners and withdraw from all human territory. After that, you will face the consequences of mistaking our mercy for weakness. Fleet Admiral Sunja Kwan stood in the command center of New Seoul, humanity's secret military headquarters built inside a hollowed asteroid. The massive screens around her showed 17 different star systems, each one about to be attacked simultaneously by human forces. All strike teams report ready, announced her tactical officer. Sunja looked at the countdown timer. In 30 minutes, the galaxy would learn what humans were truly capable of when they stopped holding back. This is for every human child who died while aliens laughed, she said quietly. Begin Operation Righteous Fury. Across the galaxy, human ships dropped out of hyperspace at exactly the same moment. Each attack had been planned for months, using intelligence gathered by humans who had lived and worked on these worlds for decades. The Vorthon hegemony was the first to fall. Their floating cities above the gas giant Vorthon Prime had been built by human engineers 50 years ago. Those same engineers had included hidden weaknesses in the design. Commodore Wu Jin Lee commanded the assault on Vorthon Prime from his battleship Busan's Vengeance. The ship's name was not an accident. Many of his crew were survivors from the New Busan massacre. Target the primary support struts, Wu Jin ordered. Let's see how well their cities float without proper engineering. The first city fell within minutes. The massive structure, home to 10 million Vorthons, tumbled through the planet's atmosphere like a broken toy. But the humans had given them a choice. Attention Vorthon Command, Wu Jin broadcast. You have enslaved humans for gladiator fighting. You have tortured human children for your entertainment. Surrender now or watch your remaining cities fall. The Vorthon response was typical of their arrogance. Humans are cattle. We will never surrender to livestock. Wrong answer, Wu Jin said, and gave the order to destroy the second city. Dr. Daeun Park watched from her laboratory as reports came in from across the galaxy. Her latest creation, the Healing Touch virus, was being deployed on worlds that had particularly enjoyed enslaving humans. The virus was her masterpiece of biological warfare. It attacked the victims' immune systems, making them completely dependent on human blood for survival. Without regular transfusions from humans, they would die slowly and painfully. The Zephyrian pirates who tortured Captain Ji-Hoon Kang's crew are showing symptoms, reported her assistant. They're begging for human blood, Daeun smiled coldly. The same Zephyrians who had enjoyed causing pain to humans were now experiencing agony themselves. The ones who had called humans cattle were now dependent on human generosity for their very survival. Tell them they can have the cure, Daeun said. After they release every human slave in their territory and submit to human authority. On the planet Kepler 186F, the Rilvan Consortium was learning what gratitude meant. These were the same aliens who had dismissed human medical teams after forcing them to work in garbage dumps. The Rilvans had sided with the Galactic Council against humanity, despite receiving decades of free medical care from human doctors. Their reward was a specially designed plague that only affected reptilian biology. Admiral Sang-ho, Yoon's fleet appeared in orbit around their homeworld just as the plague began spreading. Rilvan government. Sang-ho broadcast, you have rejected human friendship and chosen to support our oppression. You are now experiencing a biological crisis that only human medicine can solve. The Rilvan leader who appeared on screen was the same Sisktar who had insulted Dr. Soo Jin Lee months earlier. Now his scales were falling off and his breathing was labored. Please, Siskatar begged. We need human doctors. We need medicine. Sang-Ho's expression didn't change. You told us to leave your world. You said you could handle medical problems yourselves. We were wrong, Siskatar gasped. We'll do anything. Please help us. Anything? Sang-Ho asked. Will you submit to human authority? Will you acknowledge that you were wrong to treat us as servants? Siskatar's pride fought with his desperation. Around him, other Rilvans were collapsing from the plague. Finally, he nodded. Yes, we submit. We acknowledge our crimes against humanity. Too late, Sang-Ho said coldly. You had centuries to show respect. Now you can heal yourselves. The transmission ended. The Rilvan homeworld was left to suffer the consequences of their ingratitude. Tactical analyst Kyung-Min Kim was proving that human emotions were actually advantages in warfare. While alien species followed predictable patterns based on logic, humans could change their tactics based on intuition and rage. The Crystalline Confederation is retreating from Sector Set, she reported to Fleet Admiral Sun Jaquan. They expected us to follow standard military doctrine. Instead, our ships attacked from 17 different directions simultaneously. What about their response? Sunja asked. They're confused, Kyung-Min smiled. Their battle computers can't predict human behavior. We're too unpredictable for their algorithms. This was the secret advantage that aliens had never understood. They had always seen human emotions as weakness. In reality, human emotions made them impossible to predict in combat. Engineer Corps leader Hee-Jin Shin was having the time of her life. For decades, she had built infrastructure across the galaxy, always including hidden backdoors and fail-safes just in case. Now those precautions were paying off. Space Station Omega-7 is reporting total system failure, her assistant announced with barely concealed glee. What? About the Andromedan defense grid? Hee-Jin asked. Down. All communication satellites in the Tau Ceti system have gone dark. The orbital platforms around Rigel are firing on each other due to programming conflicts. Every piece of technology that humans had built or maintained was turning against its alien users. Communication networks were failing. Defense systems were shutting down. Life support systems were requiring constant human supervision to keep working. They should have been nicer to their repair staff, Hee-Jin said with satisfaction. Marshal Jong-ho An was leading the assault on Galaxis Prime, the capital world of the Galactic Council. His ships were painted with medical crosses that had been turned into targeting symbols. The symbolism was intentional. Remember, he told his captains, these are the aliens who officially declared us to be servants. Show them what servants can do when they stop serving. The orbital defenses around Galaxis Prime had been designed by human engineers and maintained by human technicians. They lasted exactly 14 minutes against the human assault. Council Speaker Veltar is requesting communication, reported Jong-Ho's communications officer. Put him through, Jong-Ho said. Veltar appeared on screen, his purple skin pale with fear. Marshal An, this is madness. You're attacking the seat of galactic civilization. I'm attacking the headquarters of human oppression, Jong-Ho corrected. You declared war on us, Veltar. We're just fighting back. We never declared war. We simply classified your species according to your natural abilities. Jong-Ho laughed bitterly. You classified us as cattle. You allowed us to be murdered and enslaved. You told us we should be grateful for the opportunity to serve our betters. That's different. That's just proper social order. Your social order is ending today, Jong-Ho said. Surrender now, or we'll demonstrate what humans are capable of when we stop choosing to be civilized. Psychological warfare. Director Ye-Jin Cho was broadcasting across all galactic frequencies. Her transmissions showed recordings of every humiliation, every insult, every moment of cruelty that humans had endured over the centuries. The galaxy watched in growing horror as they saw the systematic oppression that had been inflicted on humanity. They saw human children being sold as slaves while council ships watched. They saw human colonies being destroyed for entertainment while the council called it natural selection. You thought we were weak because we didn't fight back, Ye-Jin's voice narrated over the images. You thought we were stupid because we continued to help you even after you hurt us. You thought we were natural victims because we chose mercy over vengeance. The images changed to show human warships destroying alien military bases with surgical precision. You We're wrong about everything, Yejin continued. We weren't weak. We were choosing to be gentle. We weren't stupid. We were gathering intelligence while we healed your wounded and fixed your machines. We weren't natural victims. We were predators choosing to be peaceful. The final image showed the human flag, a red cross on a black field with the words, "Never again." You had 200 years to treat us as equals, Yejin said. Instead, you treated us as cattle. Now you'll learn what humans are like when we stop pretending to be domesticated. Supreme Commander Jinnah accepted the surrender of the Zephyrian hegemony from her flagship souls, Wrath. The same species that had tortured Captain Ji-Hoon Kang and his daughter were now begging for mercy. Please. The Zephyrian leader clicked in his insect voice. We surrender. We'll release all human prisoners. Where was your mercy when you were torturing human families? Jinnah asked coldly. We didn't know. We thought humans enjoyed pain. We thought you were made for suffering. Jinnah stared at him in disgust. You thought we enjoyed watching our children die? You thought we were happy to be your playthings? We were wrong. Please show mercy. We are no longer in the mercy business, Jinnah said. We tried mercy for 2 centuries. It didn't work. The Zephyrian leader fell to his knees. What do you want from us? Everything. 5 years had passed since the fall of the Galactic Council. Chancellor Min Seo-John stood in the rebuilt council chambers, now called the Hall of Reckoning. The walls were lined with memorials to the humans who had died during 2 centuries of oppression. The hall was full of alien delegates from across the galaxy. They had come to hear humanity's annual address on the state of galactic affairs. Unlike the old council meetings, these aliens were not here as equals. They were here as subjects of the human hegemony. 5 years ago, Min Seo began, your species learned a valuable lesson. You learned what happens when you mistake kindness for weakness. You learned what happens when you treat healers as slaves. The alien delegates sat in uncomfortable silence. Many of them still bore the scars of humanity's war of liberation. Today I want to talk about the future, Min Seo continued. Some of you think that humans have become the tyrants that your former leaders were. Some of you believe that we are ruling through fear and hatred. She paused, looking out at the assembled aliens. You're wrong. We're not ruling through fear. We're ruling through consequences. In the rehabilitation centers across the galaxy, former slave masters were learning what it meant to value human life. Rehabilitation Director Junho Cha walked through the medical wing of Center 7, where former Vorthon gladiator masters were working as orderlies. How are they adjusting? Asked Dr. Soo-Jin Lee, who now oversaw medical training for all former oppressors. Slowly, Junho replied. Some of them are starting to understand. They see human patients struggling to live, and they finally realize that we're not just objects for their entertainment. He stopped beside a bed where a human child was recovering from injuries received during the old regime. A tall Vorthon alien was carefully checking the child's bandages. That's Vexthor, Junho said quietly. He used to run gladiator pits where humans fought to the death for his amusement. Now he spends 16 hours a day caring for human patients. Has he changed? Soo-Jin asked. Yesterday he cried when one of his patients died, Junho replied. I think that answers your question. Not all of the former oppressors were successfully rehabilitating. Some still harbored hatred for humanity. Those aliens found themselves assigned to the most dangerous jobs in human space. Mining radioactive asteroids, cleaning toxic waste, maintaining fusion reactors. They chose to see us as expendable, Junho explained to a group of human administrators. Now they get to experience what that feels like. Cultural attaché Nayun Kim was overseeing the new educational system that had been implemented across the galaxy. Every alien child was now required to learn the true history of human suffering and sacrifice. Today we're going to learn about the new Busan massacre. Nayun told a classroom full of young aliens on Thoraxian Prime. The children were different species. Thoraxians, Rilvans, Zephyrians, and others. Can anyone tell me what happened at New Busan? She asked. A young Thoraxian raised one of his forearms. Thoraxian soldiers killed 3,000 humans and made videos about it. That's right, Naun said. And why did they do this? Because they thought humans were weak, said a Rilvan child. Because they thought humans existed to be hurt. Nayun nodded. And what did the humans do in response? They fought back, said a Zephyrian child. They showed everyone that humans aren't weak. These children couldn't imagine a galaxy where humans were oppressed. To them, humanity had always been the dominant force. They learned about human suffering the same way human children once learned about ancient history. In the museum district of New Geneva, the Museum of Human Suffering displayed artifacts from the centuries of oppression. Alien visitors walked through exhibits showing slave collars that had been placed on human necks, videos of human children being sold in alien markets, and recordings of council meetings where humans were discussed like livestock. The museum's most popular exhibit was the Hall of Voices, where recordings played of every insult, every dismissal, every moment of cruelty that humans had endured. Visitors could hear Council Speaker Veltar saying, "Your species exists to serve," and Thoraxian commanders laughing about the New Busan massacre. Many alien visitors left the museum in tears. They had never realized the extent of human suffering. They had been told that humans were naturally subservient, that they enjoyed serving others. The truth was much darker. Fleet Admiral Gitai Han maintained humanity's military supremacy from his flagship Terra's Might. The human fleet was now 10 times larger than it had been during the war. Every major star system had a human garrison to ensure compliance with the new order. "Sir," reported his tactical officer, "the Andromedan Republic is requesting permission to expand their mining operations in the Vega system." Gitai reviewed the request. The Andromedans had been neutral during the war, neither helping nor harming humans. They were allowed limited self-governance as long as they followed human law. "Approved," he said. "But remind them that any violation of human space will result in immediate military intervention." The message was clear to every alien species: step out of line and face the consequences. Humanity would never again allow themselves to be victimized. Some species had tried to rebel in the early years. The Crystalline Confederation had attempted to form an anti-human alliance. Their rebellion lasted exactly 6 hours before human forces crushed it completely. Now the crystalline world served as a reminder of what happened to those who challenged human authority. Dr. Yun-Ah Su led the research division that decided which alien species received access to human medical knowledge. The irony was not lost on her. The same species that had once taken human healing for granted now had to earn it. The Luminar Republic has submitted their annual request for advanced cancer treatments, her assistant reported. Yuna reviewed the Luminar file. They had been one of the few species to secretly help humans during the Dark Years. They had hidden human refugees and provided intelligence about council activities. "Approved," she said. "Give them full access to our latest research." "What about the Vorthon request for regenerative medicine?" the assistant asked. Yuna's expression hardened. The Vorthons had been among the worst oppressors, forcing humans to fight as gladiators for their entertainment. "Denied," she said. "They can use their own primitive medicine. Maybe in another 50 years when they've proven they've truly changed." Medical knowledge was now a privilege that had to be earned through good behavior and genuine repentance. Species that continued to harbor anti-human sentiments found themselves excluded from humanity's greatest gift to the galaxy. Ambassador Se-Hoon Kang, son of the tortured Captain Ji-Hoon Kang, met with a delegation of young aliens who had grown up under human rule. These aliens had never known a galaxy where humans were servants. "Ambassador," asked a young Aquari, "why do the history books say that your species used to be oppressed?" "That doesn't make sense. Humans are obviously the strongest species in the galaxy." Se-Hoon smiled sadly. "We weren't always strong, Nella. For 200 years we were slaves. We were tortured and killed for entertainment. Our children were sold in markets like animals." The young aliens looked shocked. To them, the idea of humans being weak was impossible to imagine. "But why didn't you fight back sooner?" asked a young Thoraxian. "Because we believed in peace," Se-Hoon replied. "We thought that if we were kind enough, patient enough, compassionate enough, other species would eventually treat us as equals." "That was stupid," said the Thoraxian bluntly. Se-Hoon nodded. "Yes, it was. We learned too late that some beings only understand strength. Peace is only possible when those who would break it know there will be consequences." Chancellor Minseo Jeon concluded her address to the alien delegates with words that would be remembered across the galaxy. "You often ask us when the human hegemony will end. When will humans step down and allow the galaxy to return to the old ways? The answer is simple: never." The delegates shifted uncomfortably in their seats. You had 2 centuries to prove that you could coexist peacefully with humanity. Instead, you chose oppression. You chose slavery. You chose to treat our children as objects for your amusement. Mincio's voice grew harder. The old galaxy where humans were servants is gone forever. It died the moment you officially classified us as livestock. It died when you laughed at our suffering. It died when you told us we should be grateful for the opportunity to be your victims. She looked directly at the former council speaker, Veltar, now wearing the gray uniform of a human servant. Some of you still believe that this is temporary. You think that eventually humans will return to being the galaxy's healers and servants. You think our anger will fade and we'll go back to turning the other cheek. The hall was completely silent. You're wrong. We will never again allow our children to be sold in alien markets. We will never again watch our colonies burn while the galaxy calls it entertainment. We will never again bow to those who mistake our mercy for weakness. She stood up, her voice echoing through the hall. This is the new galaxy. This is the human galaxy. Learn to live in it, or learn to regret challenging it. On Earth, in a small cemetery in Seoul, a memorial stood with the names of every human who had died during the centuries of oppression. At the base of the memorial, an inscription read,